Just reflections after on the game, a few days on from the Dragons win.
Pretty similar to what we spoke about after the game, really. I think that obviously delighted to win. An away win is massive, as we know, in front of crowds, which was awesome as well for all concerned. So good spectacle, passionate derby, which we got on top of. So we came out narrow at the end, but we'll take it and move on.
And you get your chance for crowds this weekend. First game, I think, at the Swansea.com Stadium, or the old Liberty Stadium, since February 2020. Something that's going to be new for you. Yeah,
no, for sure. I can, previously I could hear what you were saying about me during the game, so because there was no crowds around. But now you can get away with blue murder, so it's fine. No, I'm really looking forward to having that experience, and more importantly for obviously the fans to see us live, and for the players and the group to have their families and significant others come into the ground. So yeah, it's a massive thing getting people back in live sport, as we know.
And the Welsh derby as well, so you'll have the away fan element as well, which would be good.
Yeah, no, for sure. We witnessed that, and the one thing we know about all our Welsh fans, whichever region they're part of, is that they're passionate about it, and that only encourages a better spectacle and a better atmosphere.
And Cardiff had a good win on Friday against Connacht, albeit, and then they did it without two Welsh fly halves as well. What did you make of their performance, and what they're going to bring this weekend?
Well, obviously, it's Dai Young's first pre-season. I know him obviously from his Wasps days in the Premiership. I know what sort of team that they want to be under Dai, and you saw how well they performed at the weekend. So, we know how stubborn Connacht can be, and to do that and get that a 5-point win there is very impressive. So yeah, we need to be exactly where we need to be.
Bit of housekeeping. Just any injuries from last weekend? Dan Evans came off. How was he?
Yeah, he's got a slight hamstring. So we'll review him in the final session tomorrow, and then see how that goes.
And Gareth Anscombe, he obviously had 70 minutes under his belt. How's he come out from that?
Fine. No, really encouraging. So obviously rusty, as he put it, in bits and pieces. But as I've said after the game, the more time he's in the saddle, the better he'll get. So yeah, all good. The more confident, he's obviously getting confident now. He's had a bit of time at Northampton. He's had time in training where he's been crunched a bit. He's had a couple of crunching tackles at the weekend, made a few. So no, we're from a psychological point of view, we're getting him back to where he wants to be.
And you spoke about your second lion, Alan Wynne-Jones. Is there another week off? Is he going to be back for the following weekend, or will he be available for you this weekend, Toby?
No, he won't be available for us this weekend. He will be available for the following week.
And overall, the other new signings we spoke about Jack Morgan on the weekend, 20 tackles. He made a very big impression to me in sort of the defensive unseen work. Yeah,
obviously he's come here to, as part of, his development and learning from others. And from what I saw, he's a long way down that track. We obviously have got a lot of dents with Lydiate and Tipperick, etc., missing in that area. But the biggest compliment I can give him is that, he fitted right in and delivered their sort of performances. So, that's a very encouraging thing for him. And again, the more he understands of what we're trying to do, the better he'll be at it, the more impressive he'll become.
And final one for me, just Stephen Myler, Alex Cuthbert, are they available yet? Or are they still just sort of back in training, working their way back?
Steve won't be. Alex might be. We'll have to see. But we're pretty confident if they don't make this week, they'll be available the following week.
Thank you, Toby. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Toby, it's Mark. It is Mark Orders. You must have been pleased, really, with your back row on block in Newport.
Yeah. Obviously, Jack's grabbed a few headlines. You say from a defensive point of view, if you look what Morgan Morris did as a ball carrier, in the way he carried and got us on the front foot against a very competitive area against the Dragons with Wainwright and Moriarty, for example. I thought that we stood up. We know that was a strength of theirs. So, I'm pleased that we were very competitive as are relatively inexperienced compared to them. So I was really pleased with that. And obviously Will Griff gave us a lot of set piece element to it. So yeah, it was a good balance, good performance in that. But again, that's last week. You've got more challenges this week of a different type. So back rows often decide how well you go in the game. So we're going to need the same levels of performance for sure.
Are you seeing significant competition almost across the board now in your squad, and particularly back row, centre, maybe back three?
Yeah, I mean, again, I certainly, I make no apologies for trying to get, as I've said, a more robust squad that has greater depth in it. When we get some significant injuries back off the treatment table, I think we certainly will be that. But as we know, you're 25% injured most of the time. So for what you see strengths on 1 week can become a weakness or lack of depth, very, very quickly. So I think that we are, we're certainly on paper better. And the performances that you saw from some of the people that you've mentioned, bringing Michael Collins in, etc., who I know you're going to speak to later, has certainly helped us. But the more competition for places that we have, the better we are, the more consistent we have to be, because you need to deliver a performance every week.
Is Kieran Williams fit?
He is, yeah, he is fit, yeah. He's got to cover off a few bits and pieces from a collision in training, so we're just taking care of him from a HIA point of view, but he is fit and it's just returned to training. Again,
you look at your centres, you've got serious competition there with Owen Watkin, Michael Collins, young Tian, who looked quite good last week, plus Kieran.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. And it's the way we want to play, having a midfield that can defend, obviously defend exceptionally well, but be a bit more creative and also carry the ball strongly. That balance in centres is often a very hot topic for discussion, in any team. I know certainly, obviously, you've seen what has happened with Wales. You've seen what's happened in different regions, and we're getting good competition and a good blend of players, which we're really pleased about.
What did you think of Michael Collins last week?
I thought it was great. I mean, he delivered a performance that we hoped he would, because he basically showed the reason that we recruited him, because he added to the game controlling side of things. He's got the skills and backs himself in relation to play from attack, and he's got a very, very good kicking game. So from that point of view, I thought it was a pretty comprehensive all-round performance. Stepped up in the red zone and gets himself a couple of tries as well. So you want players that can influence the game, and he certainly did that.
Is he ready? Do you think he's only just arrived, but is he ready, to take the step up to Wales level?
There's a lot of competition for that, and that's why derby games are important for every player, because you're marking yourself about your competition against your competition internationally. The one of the reasons Mike was keen to come to us was to put his hand up for Wales, and if he performs consistently like he did on the weekend, then it can only do his chances. It can't do his chances any harm, and obviously puts him further down the queue.
Are you surprised that Matt Protherall rarely gets mentioned? In conversations about Wales, he played quite well, didn't he, last week? He looked really lively.
Yeah, I mean, he's a very lively player, and Matt was one of our standout players last year, and he's actually very influential in games. But again, there's a lot of very, very good back three players, and all Matty can do is keep putting his best performance on the pitch for people to talk about.
Where can you improve this week, Toby, against Cardiff?
I think we need better discipline. First half, we probably were a little bit overexcited in certain areas of the pitch, or in certain situations, not areas of the pitch. So we probably need to build better pressure by not relieving pressure, if that makes sense. By not ill discipline. We sorted that out in the second half when we looked at a better team. So you've got to give credit to the Dragons. They forced us into that pressure. But hopefully now we've got a URC game under our belt, we won't be quite as excitable and have a little bit more control to match the passion.
Great stuff. Yeah, hope it goes well for you.
Thank you. Cheers. Thanks a lot.